Our next speaker is Carl Seidman. He is a trusted business advisor specializing in financial planning and analysis, or also known as FP&A. Also specializing in business strategy and effective financial communication. He works with Fortune 500 corporations and middle market companies, including Whole Foods, Deloitte, Discover, Broadridge, Walmart, US Steel, Michelin, and Spotify, helping them establish more effective FP&A practices and teams. Carl's FP&A development methodologies, training, and curriculums have been implemented by these and other leading companies as part of their financial leadership development programs for top talent and emerging leaders. I give you Carl Seidman.
Thanks so much, Ed. Have you ever gone into a presentation, sat there and listened, and then later said to yourself, well, I'm never going to get those 20 minutes of my life back. I'm not really sure what it was that I was supposed to get out of that. Well, if you're like many of us, you work with very talented people who know what they're doing. They're great at their jobs. So why is it that so many smart people fail so miserably delivering effective technical and financial presentations? It's not that they lack public speaking skills, and it's not that they don't know how to work in PowerPoint. It's that they view presentations as little more than a transfer of information from their brains into yours. They view the data, the analysis, the conclusions as being the most important part of what they do. And why shouldn't they? Because that's what they've been told. And that's what they see everyone else around them doing too. The presentation is by default the last piece of their work. It's merely a routine for getting it in front of other people's eyes. Now, yes, the data, the analysis, the conclusions are so vital to everything that we do, but they don't tell the story. We do. And that's why so many technical presentations fail. Because technical and financial presenters see themselves merely as messengers of information, not as the storytellers of what it means. We're not effective when we drown audiences in information and starve them of insights. We don't increase their confidence when we're not clear and concise. But when we change our mindset and acknowledge that presentations are experiences, well, that's when audiences better absorb what it is that we tell them. We stop them from saying, well, I'm never going to get those 20 minutes back. I have no idea what I was supposed to get out of that. Because technical or financial presentations, when woven together as story-like narratives, that's what resonates the strongest with audiences like yours. And that's how you get buy-in and commitment from your leadership. I want you to raise your hand if what I'm about to say applies or resonates with you. First, how many of you work with big picture thinkers? Those people who say, just tell me what it is that I need to know. Okay. And how many of you work with very detail-oriented people, those who are going to spend as much time as they need going line by line by line through your assumptions? Okay, so I see some of you raising your hands first, and I see the same people raising your hand the second time. Let's go on. How many of you work with financial people, those who can speak the language of the profit and loss statement? Okay. And how many of you work with non-financial people that if you were to say the word or the acronym EBITDA, they would stare at you with a completely blank pair of eyes? Okay. And how many of you work with senior leadership? And how many of you work with junior staff? Okay. So as you can see from all of this hand raising, we see that all of us work with all different kinds of people, with different styles and personalities, self-interest, and different ways of processing information. But if I were to go into a room and stand in front and selfishly say, I am who I am, I do what I do, and I deliver the same way every time, I'm going to lose you. I'm not considering who you are or what you need or how you're going to use this intelligence. I'm not there serving and supporting you. And that's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to do. Several years ago, I was working with a large automotive parts manufacturer in the Midwest. This company takes molten hot aluminum, pours it into molds, and creates the engine parts that you might see underneath the hood of your car. And when I went to advise this company, it was struggling and on the cusp of bankruptcy. Totally true story. And I was tasked with helping rebuild the sales and the financial forecasts. These financial models were extremely detailed, so much so that non-financial people looking at them would probably just completely stare at them and have no idea what it was that they were looking at. But after 3 months, it was time to prepare the findings and the intelligence for leadership. But before I did, I needed to perform an assessment. Who's in the audience? What's their mandate? Or in other words, what is it that they're trying to get out of this presentation that they don't have right now? What do they care about? And how can I connect what I have with what they need? Where do they feel that they're most vulnerable? And what can I do to make them feel more comfortable? In that audience was going to be Peter, the company's CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Peter had 2 key priorities. Even though he was a busy man and concerned with all sorts of different activity in the business, he needed to know what was going to be the product mix expected over the next 3 years. And 2, what was going to be the future capacity and utilization, and does it justify consolidating 3 plants down into 2? For Peter, he's a senior gentleman, financial in mind, and very detail-oriented. So I was going to simplify the forecast into a 1-page summary focusing on product mix by plant and by year. But I would prepare my forecast model in the event that he would want to dive deeper. Also in the audience was going to be Michael, a no-nonsense, fast-moving director of sales. Details didn't matter that much to Michael. He just wanted to know, who are we selling to? What are we selling to them? How much are we selling? And when? For Michael, he wanted to focus on simplifying the mix, and he wanted to see him quick, easy, through pie charts. One company, one set of underlying data and analysis, but varying narratives given the mandate of the end users. By identifying needs, what questions are likely to be asked, and adjusting delivery style to meet their needs, that's how we build greater rapport and accomplish our goals. That company eventually consolidated its plans and sold the business. The way you design, build, and deliver technical presentations matters. You do it effectively by managing the flow and the format of information, not by overwhelming. You do this during the presentation, but also before and after. It's your duty to create an experience, one that engages, one that enlightens, but most importantly, it's an experience that lifts the confidence and manages the risks of making business decisions.
Thank you, Carl. Appreciate that.